It's your open source advocate, and I'm back with another video. And this week I wanted to talk about some really great CLI tools that you can use for monitoring your systems. These are just tools that you can go and get installed through your command line. Some of these will work on Windows, Mac, Linux, BSD. It doesn't really matter which system. Some of these you may have to go and look for which system it is, maybe do a little bit of tweaking to make it work, but they're really great tools, and for the most part they're really pretty easy to get installed and running. These are just really some awesome things that I've been looking for and found, and I've covered a couple of them in the past, I think. Just a little bit I've shown them, really, not really covered them in a video, but I wanted to do a video on them because I think they're worth looking at and worth knowing about, and definitely for you guys to get out there and check them out as well, because you can really get some great information very quickly through an SSH terminal or session, just for your local machine, anything like that. And they're super low resource, so that makes it really nice to be able to run these things and see what's going on. We're going to get into the installations and how to use these tools right after this. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers and all of my patrons over at Patreon. Seriously, you guys make this so worth it for me to do these videos every week. I really truly enjoy it, and I just can't say thank you enough. If you're enjoying these videos, subscribe. Let YouTube know that I'm doing a good job by subscribing to the channel, plus you'll get notified when I have new videos coming out. And finally, if you're enjoying what I'm doing, give it a like, just click on that thumbs up, and that way YouTube knows that you like it, and they'll pass it along to other people that might enjoy my content as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you again. Let's get started. Alright, I'm going to start with BTop++, and really if you want to get Bashtop, it's also very easy to get. I think for the most part on most systems you can just do whatever your package manager is, install Bashtop, and it'll just go get it. It's already there, but I think BTop is also already there for a lot of the systems as well. So if I just open up my terminal, I'm already SSH'd into one of my other machines. I'm just going to make the font a little bit bigger for you guys. And we're just going to follow their instructions here, sudo snap install. And I'm not a huge fan of snaps, but it's okay. Install BTop, it's all good. We'll do -y. It doesn't know what that is. Okay. So we'll just get rid of the -y. We'll run sudo snap install BTop. It's going to do it. And we're done. And we'll do BTop. So it says terminal size is too small. My width and my height are too small. And that's because I have my screen size set up this way. So it's the height that's too small with 17 instead of 24. So I'm going to just quit out of that. And I'm going to just make this a little bit smaller font. So just be aware, if you have really big fonts, it may not work. You have to have the 80 by 24 at a minimum. Now we'll do BTop again. There we go. So BTop comes right up, and I'm running this in Tabby. You can run this just in your regular terminal. It doesn't matter as long as you've got the right amount of column and spaces. It's gonna function fine. So when you're looking at BTop, you get some really great information. So you've got this CPU information up here. You've got this menu, so when I click, I'm clicking with a mouse, it brought up options, so I can click on options. So this is a clickable system, which is really cool because it's running in the terminal, really. But you've got this color theme, so you can change your color theme. You can change the theme background, so you can see some different information here that's going on. So we've got general, you've got CPU, you've got memory, network, and proc. So he's giving you the shortcut numbers here as well. So if you don't want to use the mouse, I can hit 2. It's going to jump me to there. I can hit 4. It's going to jump me over to memory or network. Sorry. So you've got all these different options, and it's really kind of cool that you can go and do this. And right now it says graph symbol net 1/4. Net download 100, net upload 100. So it says fixed network graph upload value in megabits default 100. So in my case, I have higher than 100 megabits per second technically, so I could raise this up. And it's got the little enter thing that says, hey, just add that. I'm just going to hit 1,000. My upload is definitely not that high, so I'm going to hit enter to save that 1,000. I'll move down to my upload, and my upload is not 100 megabits, so that's going to be fine. And then we've got net auto true, net sync true, net trace, or net interface. We can also go here, so manually set the starting network interface. So we can do, I believe this is ENS18. I'm going to hit enter, and we're good. So I can just hit escape to get out of the menu there, and then I can just I can go to quit, I can go to help, or I can just hit escape to close that menu as well, which is great. So you've got these different options up here to check out. You can kind of see what's going on. You can see how many CPUs I've got running here for this virtual machine, and it gives me separated stats. But then it also gives me this kind of overall graph of what's going on. So you can see really nothing's happening right now. As we move down, then we've got this memory. So we've got the totals, and you can kind of see what's going on with where my memory sits at, what's free. We've got the disk space, so used free, which is my root partition, my swap partition, my boot partition, so you can see the different information about my disks. And then over here we've got your processes that you would have in your normal kind of top system. And then down here we've got the network. So we've got the local IP address. I've got sync, auto, 0, so a few different things, but you can see my download speed right now is kilobytes per second. I've got top, I've got total, so a lot of different information here that's just really great in a flash. I mean, this is such a simple, straightforward, nice dashboard that's really built well. It's very easy to navigate, it's very easy to use. I just really like it. So if we go down here, let's just click on auto. All right, so we did auto. Yeah, if we click on auto, there we go. Okay, so it's got some different information here. It's got 14K as the max. If I go back, if I click auto again, I think that just resets where it's looking. Yeah, so it's 125 megabits. So it's just setting kind of what's the max that it can look at. So that's why you're not seeing any kind of changes, because it's really so small right now. It's not making any changes. But if I set it to auto, it changes this max over here where you can kind of see the network graph of what's going on. So that's pretty great. So that's BTop. BTop is really awesome. Now I would go and install Bashtop as well, just so you can see the difference. So I'm going to do sudo apt install Bashtop. Is that right? Yeah, snap install. So sudo snap install Bashtop. There we go. We'll get Bashtop and look at it too, because it's the same project as far as I know. It's just maybe been a little bit updated with BTop. So we're going to do Bashtop like that, and you can see it's a little bit different. So Bashtop says, hey, I'm going to go check out all of these different pieces of information, and you can see that he does something a little bit different with the way he lays things out. So the disks, it's not picking up, which is interesting. Not getting any disk information. Here we've got CPU and we've got the menu, but remember we had another option here on BTop. So let me open up another tab actually to this same machine, and we'll run BTop in this one. So yeah, if you look, it's a little bit different color scheme, which of course can be changed, but you got CPU, you've got the menu, and then you've got preset. So you've got a few different options over here. A little bit darker. I kind of like the darker colors myself, the darker background with the lighter colors and things. This one's just perfectly fine. If you're not bothered by it, I'm sure you can set up the themes just like you could before. I can't click on this one, but if I go here, yeah, I can click. So this is nice because I get the mouse with BTop++, but with Bashtop, I'm not able to use the mouse to actually activate this thing. So it looks like M is highlighted. So if I hit M, yeah, we get the menu, we get options, but now we're gonna have to use, definitely use the keyboard to navigate around and do some different things here. And you can kind of see what's going on. It's refreshing a little bit odd. It's getting kind of a glitchy refresh rate there on the screen. So also something kind of interesting, but we've got different information here, but up at the top it doesn't look like we have quite as many tabs either. We've got just, yeah, not quite as much stuff to filter through here on the menu, so kind of interesting. So if we do escape and escape, we can get back to here. So Bashtop doesn't quite have as much stuff. I'd say definitely BTop++ is the one you want to stick with if you're going to pick one of these. So I'm going to quit out of Bashtop here, and I'm going to just close that tab, and we've got BTop++ running over here. It looks really good. Again, if we hit M, we can get to the menu, we can hit options. You can see this is just a nicer, cleaner interface. It's a little bit easier to see. It still has that kind of weird glitchiness. That could be a tabby thing, who knows. I can actually open up my other terminal and run BTop if I SSH over there as well, so we can check that out. We've got the same options, so yeah, very interesting. Oh, I changed the theme. Okay, so you can change the theme just by using left and right arrows. I didn't realize that on the other one. So there's different themes. If I just right arrow through it, that's a bright one, sorry. Here's some dark ones. Yeah, so very, very cool. Okay, I kind of like the original one I was on, I think. Yeah, I think it's this one. Okay, so we'll stay with this one. Sorry about that for the brightness for a second there. Our theme background, true false, so I like that true, definitely. True color, true, if we change that to false. Okay, interesting. So I'm going to leave it like this. Force TTY false, Vim keys false. So you can set up Vim keys if you want to. That would just set it up so that you kind of navigate with J, K, L, and H. Very interesting. Cool. So very, very very fluid, very simple, very fast. I like this. BTop is awesome. If you've never checked it out, definitely go get it and try it. I think you're going to enjoy this one. It's really cool. This is Bottom. Now, I've never tried to run Bottom before, so this is kind of a different one, but I really like the way that it looks. And if you look here, it says Linux, Mac OS, Windows. It's inspired by GTop, GoTop, and HTop, so it's a nice terminal. Kind of same thing we've just been looking at with some different capabilities. So if you come check out their little GIF, they show you what they're kind of doing. They're walking through, setting some things up. But of course, they have some instructions for us as well. So they've got support, official, unofficial, installation, so they give you all the different things where you might want to install this, so definitely kind of come check this out. But they've got a Windows installer, but they've also got Chocolatey and Scoop. So if you remember my last video, I talked about how to use those things to kind of install different things on Windows. Pretty great. They've got a Mac ports, they've got a homebrew, so really some cool options here as far as what you can get installed. I am on, of course, Debian and Ubuntu right now, so that's the one that I'm interested in. They've got snaps, but let's just see what they've got. So if we go up here, we've got x86 64, that's what I'm running, but you've also got ARM 64. So if you want to run this on your Raspberry Pis, you can. They've got ARM without the 64, so regular ARM 32-bit. You can also get this and run it. Pretty great. They've got some curl instructions here to go and pull down the deb. So that's just going to pull down this deb file. So I'm just going to copy that right there, and I'll go back into this one, and let me just quit out of BTop here, and I'm just going to paste that in. And it's going to download that thing, and then we're going to do so they say do sudo dpackage. Let's do sudo apt install / and that file was called bottom, and if we hit tab, it'll autocomplete for us. So we're going to use apt to try and install this thing, and then -y. So apt should go out and get all of the things that we need in order for this to get installed, instead of us having to do like dpackage and then go do some other weird stuff. And it looks like it did, so let's just try bottom. It doesn't know what it is, so it wants us to use the snap. Okay, we just installed the D package. Let's just check our instructions to see if we're doing something wrong. Lots of different ways to do this. Usage is pretty straightforward, but it says BTM. So BTM-H for a quick overview, which is help. So cool. So I just typed in the command incorrectly. We'll clear this out. Let's do BTM and just see what it looks like. So yeah, as soon as you type in BTM, this thing opens up. It's going to start grabbing some information from my system and kind of showing you the output that we would expect, of course. And so up here at the top, we've got CPU and what we're using, and it shows you the different CPUs in the system that I've allocated to it. In this case, it's a VM, but it's showing you what we've got going, which is cool. And it shows you where the CPU is getting little spikes, and you've got kind of a scale over here to help you see what's going on. So you can see one of my CPUs was really spiking for a second there. Next up, we've got memory. So my memory is sitting pretty flat. Not a lot going on with it, but I've got different things. So RAM is 25% used, so I'm using 3.5 gigs out of 15, and swap is using nothing. Awesome. So temperatures, there's no data. I might have to install some other things to get the temperatures to come up, and it's always something you need to check for your different operating systems or your different kernels, depending on what it is, but it could be worthwhile for you to do that. Of course, this is a VM too, so it may not be able to give me any temperatures, but with your physical systems, it may work. So we can install this on my actual physical system here in just a minute, and just kind of let you see what that looks like as well. Moving down, you've got your disk information, so pretty static, not quite as pretty as the other one was, but still very useful information here. You've got your network information, so again, this is giving me 5.5. I'm not sure if that's kilobytes or kilobits. It doesn't really say. It says megabytes, so 5.5 megabytes. So yeah, that'd be pretty fast downloading. That's pretty great. And it just shows you in a timeline kind of what's happening on the system. And then here's the, you can see it's Valorant server for the game server is kind of taking up most of the CPU most of the time, but BTM takes up some of it as well. It's not a lot. I mean, it's like sitting at 0% memory and 0.4% of the CPU. So Valorant's a little bit higher. That's my server for the games that I play with the girls and my wife. So yeah, you can really kind of get that top information that you're used to. You can scroll down. So let's just quit out of it and I just hit Q to quit. So BTM-H. Here's all of our help information. So yeah, a lot of really good information. -A, which hides the average CPU. Auto hide the time. -B, basic. Okay. And then -C, Celsius. -C is config. So we can do the configuration of bottom. So you can go in and change the configuration through some configuration files. They've got colors and different information. -D, a time delta. -E, expanded, okay, and Fahrenheit if you want Fahrenheit, US, basically anywhere in the US I guess would be about it for Fahrenheit. I think the rest of the world is on metric system. But we've got groups, help, so yeah, just a ton of information. You can do Kelvin, awesome. You can do Kelvin temperatures, great. So left legend, dot marker, so I wonder if we do -K, -L, and maybe -E. Let's see if that does anything. BTM -K LE. Let's just see what we get. Okay, interesting. So the E probably gave us this thing in expanded form. That's pretty cool. So we can kind of see just the processes. All right. So if we quit that, let's just do -KL. All right. So yeah, it gives us the left side CPU stuff instead of over on the far right side. It's still running everything in. And in this case, of course, I'm not getting any temperatures, so I'm not going to get any data for the temperatures, unfortunately. But we'll put this on my actual host system here. So from here, if we do BTM, I'm not sure if I have to have the screen size smaller. No, that's okay. It's a little bit blown up there, but you can see it a little bit better. You can see what's happening from it. So it's keeping the system theme. Not wild about the system theme, but that's okay. I am getting temperatures, so let me quit this. Let me make the font a little smaller again, and I'll do BTM, and then we'll just kind of see what it shows us here. Yeah. So there we go. We got some temperatures coming from the system. So core zeros at 71 degrees Celsius, or 78 Celsius, 81 Celsius, 82 Celsius. So for me, Celsius doesn't say a lot. I'm a U.S. person, so I'm definitely more used to Fahrenheit. Kelvin, honestly, either one is fine. But you know, Celsius and Kelvin are definitely not my normal. So Fahrenheit would be much more useful for me. But let's just do a quit, and let's do BTM dash. Let's do -FL here. Oh, I didn't put BTM, huh? Okay, there we go. Yeah. So it put the CPU stuff to the left side, which is the L, that -L. And the Fahrenheit does give us Fahrenheit temperatures. So 180 degrees Fahrenheit, 173 Fahrenheit, 176 Fahrenheit. So yeah, not bad. I think I am used to seeing CPU temperatures in Celsius because I think 78 to 90 is decent. Not too bad. Maybe 78 to 80. But yeah. So that, I mean, this is bottom. This is awesome. It's really a great looking tool, and I think it's pretty cool. I think BTop gives me a little bit more functionality that's a little bit easier to get to, but bottom's pretty nice. It's actually got some pretty nice functionality here. So there we go. So these are some really great tools. Again, not every tool does everything, and you don't need every tool to do everything. So pick the tool that works for what you need and use it. You don't have to use all three of these, but I wanted to show them to you because they're pretty great. So when we start talking about Zenith, it looks to me a little bit more like a more kind of top incurses type tool. We're going to see what it does, but yeah, I mean, look at the features they've got listed here. So optional CPU, memory, network, and disk usage stats, quick glances at disk free space, NIC IP address, CPU frequency, highest top users, CPU. So this is kind of what you get from a lot of these different tools that we've been looking at. But zoomable chart views, that's pretty cool with support for scroll back in time. Nice. I mean, yeah, quite a few things here. So planned features, they've got a list here as well. And if you look up, they've been doing, 4 days ago. So they've got stuff that's been happening years ago, weeks ago, days ago, months ago. So they've got, this was, now granted, this is the README, but they updated the instructions. That's fine. And it's for Arch Linux. That's great. They added some information there. But we're still just talking weeks where there's been things that have been getting done. So hopefully this is still getting some love here from the team that's been making it. If we go here, current platforms are Linux and Mac OS. I'm sorry, Windows users, just for these kind of terminal applications, a lot of times it's a little hard to make it fit for everybody. And Linux and Mac OS tend to be the ones that have people just using a terminal and not a GUI. But yeah, so for Linux, that's pretty great. If we go down here to the installation, they've got Debian Ubuntu-based distributions right here, 64-bit. So they've got deb packages are available, and we can just click right here. Let's just look here. I've got a deb. Yeah, so Zenith AMD64.deb. They've got AMD64.deb SHA. They've got tar.gz if you need that. They've got Darwin, so that's your Mac OS version as well. Let's just right click on this, and I'll do copy the link. So if you've never done that before, this is a really easy way to get this stuff out. So I'll quit out of out of bottom there. And I'm going to clear this, and we'll make this font a little bigger again. And we're just going to do wget, and then I'm going to paste in that link. So it's going to go grab that deb file for us. And then we'll just do again sudo apt install /Zenith, and it's got that deb, so we're just going to hit that and it's going to come in and install it. And that was pretty quick. It didn't take much time. So this is running on my remote server that I'm SSH'd into, and I'm just going to type in Zenith. Let's see, does it? Yeah, that starts it. So it's zoomed up pretty big. If I adjust while it's running, how does it do? Didn't scale very well for me to be doing that, so let's just quit out of it and let's just try the command again and see if it scales. Oh, okay, it's about how it looks. So it's got CPU information, and I can bring this back up since it's not scaling too differently anyways. You lose a little bit of information at the bottom as you scale up the font. Just be aware of that. But we've got the CPU here. It's a 800 megahertz CPUs, so you can see how many CPUs it's running. This is really threads. I think I gave it 4. It might be 8. And then we've got CPU 9%, mean 1.4% peak. So they're giving you some good information. These things, so-so. I'm not real thrilled with those graphs, but you know, it's okay. So down here you've got memory information, so 3.9 gigabytes out of 16 gigabytes total. We've got 24% getting used. So you can see just the same information that we were getting before. And then here's the top, which is Java. So Java's, you know, using up most of the stuff here. And then if we go over here, we've got our network information. So here's your private IP address. Really handy to have this actually. So I like that it put this one at the top. That's really nice because the rest of these are Docker Bridge IP addresses that I don't really use that much. Here you can see your bandwidth peaks. So pretty great. And it's giving you that information down here. You've got your file system. So you've got your total, your /boot, and your /. You get a little bit more detailed information out here as well. Very, very quick glance kind of information to me. And then down here you've got navigate, so you can do up down to navigate down here. Let's click. Nope, it's not navigating anywhere that I can tell. Oh, let's see. Oh, so if you look, I'm going to go left. I'm moving the graphs back to the left, and then I can move them back to the right. So pretty interesting, pretty neat. And then if I do control minus, there we go. We can get a little bit more information down here at the bottom. So if I tab. There we go. You got a tab down at the bottom, so it highlights the one that you're on. So if I shift tab, you can see that this little border barely changes color. It's changing color for, I'm sure, everybody, but for me it's hard to see. But now I can arrow up and down between these things, and still the left and the right control the charts up at the top, so that's interesting no matter where you're highlighted. So it's a little bit of a weird one. Zenith is definitely interesting looking. I'm not sure that it would be one that I would use for much of anything. If you hit enter when you highlight one of those things, you can kind of see what it says. So yeah, this is the Zenith stuff. Let's go look at the Valoran server. So we can see what the Valoran server is. It says that it's alive. It's got a PID. It gives you CPU usage, which is 14%, and then threads 29. And then you've got a little bit of information up here that you can do. So I could kill this with a K. I could resume it. I could suspend it. You can give it a priority. Not bad. Terminate, you got sig kill. You've got a lot of different options there. So kill is the sig kill. Terminate is sig term. So kind of up to you if you needed to kill the process. If you can get this running and get to the process, you can do that for sure. Zenith is not bad. I like this one. I think it's got some potential. Definitely could use a little bit of work. They've got a few things up here at the top that it's got a little bit of base information. So not bad. I definitely have to say, I think that I am probably a BTop fan. I really like this look. I think it's great. It gives you a lot of really cool information. Very easy to see, very easy to look at. Even with the smaller fonts, I can kind of see what I'm interested in pretty quickly. So yeah, I really like this one. I think this is a great one. And then bottom is definitely, for me, if not a tie, a close runner-up. But I think I like the navigation here in BTop because I can click and I can do different things in here, so I can just jump down instead of having to arrow around. But yeah, I mean, if you don't like the update at 2 seconds, you can start changing that. So I'm arrowing and it's just dropping by 100 milliseconds at a time. So if I do 500 milliseconds, I mean, this thing's going to update a lot. So look at how fast that's moving in the background now. So probably not good to do that. You don't need that kind of level of update unless something weird's going on. But we could do a second, so you get a little bit more detail. I think the 2 seconds is fine, but interesting that you can change that. Very cool. And then we've got rounded corners true. Yeah, there's some very barely rounded corners, but let's see if we go false. Yeah, it does change. So it's very hard to see, but right here, if I change this to true, if you kind of look right there at that corner, It just rounds it a little bit. It just rounds it a little bit. It's very hard to see. Interesting though. The graph symbol. So they've got it set to Braille. So they have 3 different ones: Braille, Block, or TTY. So right now we're set to Braille, which is kind of the dots. So that's interesting. So if we go to Block, there you go. Fills it in, makes it look a little bit more solid. Very interesting. I like it. Then if you go to TTY, this is definitely kind of a blocky with some fading. So an interesting one, just depending on what you like. It may be the thing that you want to use. I kind of like this block, but I think Braille's pretty clean looking as well. Gives you a little bit nicer looking graphs. False. And if we keep going down, so you can go below the bottom of that menu, there's more. Background update true, and then if we say false, interesting, so it just stops updating. Okay, very cool. Show battery true. This doesn't have battery, so wouldn't be any battery information. It'd be select the battery, it says auto, and then log level 3. There's warning, there's info, there's debug, there's disabled, and then there's error. So it's set to warning by default. I'm just going to leave it on that one. But there's a lot of really cool stuff here that you can do. I mean, this has got so much really, really great information. It says show boxes, so let's do enter. Let's see. So manually set which box to show. Available values of CPU. So right now it's got everything. So let's change it because it tells me what I can type in. So let's just get rid of processes. Yeah, I got rid of it. It's gone. So you can really kind of customize how this looks and is laid out. That's interesting. What if I put proc at the front? I wonder what happens. I wonder if it has a fixed spot. Invalid box name in shown. No, so it just won't let me put it where I want to put it. That's interesting. Okay, so you have to put them in the right order. You can't just move them around in whatever order you want. That's interesting. So yeah, I mean, very cool. Not a bad system setup here. I think BTop's definitely my favorite. It's the easiest to configure. It's got a lot of really great features in it. I think it just makes it so simple to get a quick look at whatever system you're wanting to look at. Super great. I really like this. This is awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, like, subscribe, tell your friends about it so they can come along on the open source journey with us. And I'll talk to you next time.